Let me take the second one first, and I covered both of them in the Dummies book. If you are not able to execute somebody else's strategy to high quality, you have to do it your own. Either go, you're not even going to be happy as an employee. So if you can't execute somebody else's strategy, the only thing you can do is become your own boss. And there's nothing wrong with becoming your own boss. I mean, there are millions and millions of people out there who are very successful, independent, wonderful brands that should not franchise. And there's nothing wrong with that. And they grow into chains called Starbucks and things like that. Nothing wrong with having... I grew up in a business where at the age of 6 years old, I came home from kindergarten or first grade and went to my family's business and started to work. That's how my life started. So mom and dad started a small business, grew it very nicely, retired young, but there's nothing wrong with being there. But my dad couldn't have been somebody's franchisee in a million years. Neither could my mom. On the franchising side, people want to become a franchisee because a franchisor has made the mistakes and survived. That's what you get out of franchising. You don't start at, when you open up the door as a new franchisee in a brand that has some, people have noticed the brand, there's brand recognition out there. You're opening up the door not as a new business. People trust you already. You bought into the trust. So, think about the franchisee that opens up his very first Subway. Well, does anybody think it's a new business? They know it's a Subway. They have brand recognition. There's TV time. Even somebody who's buying a franchise from a franchisor that's opening up his second location, people might know him in the next town over. They might have heard from him. But that franchisor will be able to help the franchisee select the real estate that's right for his brand. That franchisee doesn't have to make that mistake. There's a wonderful document called the franchise disclosure document. It is ugly, it is long, it is complicated, but it has a chart in there in item 7 that says to the franchisee before he becomes a franchisee, here's your investment. Here's your investment, here's the franchise fee, here's what it's going to cost you generally to build out the location, here's what the equipment costs, here's what it's going to cost you for a lawyer, for training, for telephone. It will list for him things he would have never thought of or she would have never thought of in buying a franchise. And at the bottom, before he gets to the total investment, it says working capital. How much do I need in order to be in this business? Businesses don't go out of business because the burgers are bad. And they don't go out of business because of a lot of reasons. They go to business because they don't have enough money. They couldn't anticipate the money. They go out of business because there are questions which they don't have the answer to. The franchisor is lucky enough to have survived being hit by the car, and now the franchisee knows not to walk in front of it. That's basically what it is. So franchising is a way of missing the mistakes. Now there may be some joy in having survived those mistakes, but I'd rather be somebody who didn't have to go through them, and I'll make up my own stories and then, but that's what the joy of franchising is. It's missing the mistakes that somebody else made.